Good afternoon. My name is Ron Johnson, and this is my informational speech about tobacco in general and pipe smoking specifically. So we will start out talking about tobacco, the history of tobacco, the use of tobacco, and how it has been in human employ for over 12,000 years. According to Haaretz, which is an Israeli newspaper that has its own archaeology section, so that's pretty cool. There was an archaeological find of tobacco in Utah, here in the United States, from over 12,300 years ago. This article was published just this month in October of 2021. That 12,000 year number was over 9,000 years longer than what was expected before and the archaeological evidence that was presented before. So tobacco's been around humans for a very, very long time. Mainly it was used earlier than the 1500s in North and South America by the indigenous people there. After the Columbian Exchange, tobacco spread out to the rest of the world, places like Asia, Africa, and of course Europe, where pipe smoking became all the rage in the 1600s and 1700s. So after that time, there started to be cultivating. Like man always does, especially colonial man, we started taking the different types of tobaccos and making them into what people needed for either smoking, chewing, medicine, wrappers for cigars, which of course is used in smoking, and so on and so forth. So the different types of tobaccos, the leaves, are Virginias, which are also called bright leaf tobaccos, burley, latakia, and other Balkan and Oriental tobaccos, which are used, most of them are used for pipe smoking. The burley and the Virginias are used for cigarettes, which are super gross, and of course for snuff, chewing tobacco, things along that line. So we'll transition into pipe tobaccos specifically. And what I want to talk about today are the types, the different pipe tobacco is prepared by putting it into a machine press, pressing it, stoving it, and aging it. And we get little things like this, which if you put them on this plate here, this is actually called a drying plate, shred them up, they're ready to go in the pipe. Another very, very popular type of tobacco is what's called a cube. This is very, very hard. Basically, this is the flake tobacco, but in its solid form. You take a knife, you cut different parts of it, you let that dry, you put it in your pipe. And of course, we have what's called, most people call it shag or just loose leaf tobacco. And this is what most people use. There are different types of loose leaf tobacco. There are Virginias, Perique, which is a special type of tobacco grown only in St. James Parish in Louisiana. And there are Cavendish and Burley blends. And of course, I said earlier that Burley is used for cigarettes and chew, but it's also a really, really amazing component for pipe tobacco. So that being said, we'll go to the different types of pipes. The earliest and the one we have the most archaeological evidence from are clay pipes, which I do not have a sample of, but they've been made for centuries. And that's what Europe mainly used after the Columbian Exchange. After that, we have the good old corncob pipe, which is made right here in the United States, and it's by a company called Missouri Meerschaum, which I'll get to Meerschaum in a minute. It's a really interesting pipe. Farmers and different townspeople have been using these for hundreds of years. Speaking of Meerschaum, the Turkish government website tells us that there are wonderful industries involved with the meerschaum. It's a mineral. It's not like any kind of fossil or anything like that, but it's a mineral, and it's used for pipe making specifically. And there are also different artifacts and tchotchkes that can be used for meerschaum. So this right here is what's called an eagle claw meerschaum, and you can see the exquisiteness of the sculpting. By far the most popular way to smoke tobacco today in America is a briar pipe. This is Peterson. It's a Peterson system pipe, and we're actually going to smoke it today. So I'm going to show you the quick way to do that. Briar is wonderfully carved. It's carved out of a root, And as you can see, it brings out all kinds of really amazing details in the wood. So the way we smoke a pipe is, we take a little bit of this loose tobacco, we put it in, take our thumb or our any kind of finger, pack it tightly, a little bit tighter on the bottom, a little bit looser on the top. Pipe smokers have a love of accoutrement, and this is a pipe tool. This is a pipe tool. Different types of pipe lighters. This one actually says Peterson, and it's a special kind of pipe lighter that draws through to the bowl. This is a lighter that I got for my birthday one year by my beautiful wife. It actually has a pipe tool in it, and then a good old-fashioned extended one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this and I'll do what's called a charring light. At this point, I'm not going to smoke it. I'm going to tamp it. And then this is the smoking light. I'll sip the smoke. Enjoy the flavor. I don't inhale. Normally takes me about 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes up to an hour, depending on the size of the bowl. It's a really good enjoyment. Some people demonize tobacco, but my habit isn't any different from any beer lover or mixologist. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.